The math's pretty simple. Sell more cars, earn more money. So you'd imagine that for that reason, manufacturers would want their products to be sold far and wide, right? Yeah, that doesn't always end up being the case. Hey guys, Stipe here with a list of the coolest forbidden fruits that were available in single markets only. Take your pants off, roll that intro. Here we go, number 7, Honda NSX-R. Okay, so picture this. In 1990, Honda built the NSX, a mid-engine sports car that's better than the Ferrari 348 by every conceivable measure. It was lighter, faster, prettier, more practical, more reliable, and most importantly, more affordable.
Oh, hell yeah, that's wife-like material right there.
Ayrton Senna gave it the thumbs up, as did every car journalist, and yet more people still bought the inferior Ferrari instead. Why? Because the NSX was made to be a proper daily driver, and for that reason, some of the exotic raw edge was just engineered out of it. Oh yeah? Well, boom! Here's the NSX-R, a no-nonsense hardcore version made to shut up even the biggest badge-snobbing Ferrari fangirls. Officially, it produced the same amount of power as the regular one, but come on, we all know that was a lie. Liar! The chassis was further stiffened, and then everything that wasn't absolutely necessary was ripped out. Aircon? Gone. Sound insulation? Deleted. Radio? Forget about it. Your playlist is now a Honda V6 screaming at 8,000 RPM. Even the spare tire wasn't spared. As a result, the NSX-R was embarrassing the overpriced Eurotrash, and I mean European exotics on any track that had more than 2 corners. It was perfect. Perfect. Except for one thing. It was sold only in Japan. Yep. If you lived anywhere else, Honda basically said, sorry buddy, go play Gran Turismo instead. Well, I guess it serves us right. You didn't want to buy the regular NSX? Well, you don't get to have the hard R now.
No.
Number 6, BMW 333i. Everyone's heard of the first-gen BMW M3. It's the Genesis, the road racer which kickstarted the Civil War amongst the German Big Three, and then rose to the top of many greatest BMWs of all time list.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. I am the cream.
Meanwhile, down in South Africa, shunned, locked away within the borders of this one country, and unfairly forgotten, lurked its equally impressive, equally race-bred sibling. I'm talking about the one and only 333i, aka the E30 333. As the story goes, South Africa had quite a popular Group N racing series, which BMW of South Africa really wanted to join. However, the M3 wasn't available in that country, so what did the African Beamer bosses do, you might ask? They phoned Alpina, which is a BMW tuning specialist, to help them make their own M3 with blackjack and hookers and a so-called Big Six under the hood. Exciting times. That's the 200 horsepower 3.2 liter straight six taken from the 7 Series, and let me tell you, it was like stuffing a blue whale into a goldfish bowl. The engine was so big that there wasn't enough room left for both the aircon and the power steering, so each buyer had to choose. You could be cool, or you could actually turn the wheel, not both. Hey, do you want to sweat, or you want to have arms like, steel, oh yeah, turn right, turn left? Only about 200 of these were ever sold, and only in South Africa. The 333i never stood a chance of becoming a global superstar like the M3, but to those who know it, they are much more special, and much more valuable too.
Damn!
Number 5, Cadillac CT5 Blackwing. The best damn super sedans come from Germany, right? Wrong. The best one is actually an all-American big boy caddy CT5 Blackwing. Motor Trend says so, and so does Road and Track too. Car and Driver prefers it over the new M5 and the RS7. And, just so you don't accuse me of cherry-picking the home-rooting bias sources, here's how British Top Gear rated it.
Meanwhile,
isn't it nice when everybody agrees that the old ways are still better? What do I mean by that? Well, the Caddy is very old school. It's rear-wheel drive only, which, okay, won't catapult it to 60 as quickly as others, but it will make it more fun everywhere else. The 6.2-liter supercharged V8 is technically a small block, but nowhere near as small as the downsized stuff like you'll find in Mercedes and Audi. And you know what that means. Real noise and real power. Lastly, there's no complicated hybrid system, which made the new M5 heavier than some SUVs, believe it or not. And how can I forget? The Blackwing can be had with a manual.
Thank you, Jesus!
So, you want one? Well, unless you live in America, you can't have one. This car is a heavy smoker, and I'm not talking about only in the way that it treats its tires. There's a reason why Euro rivals are all downsized or hybrids. Super strict emissions laws. I'm guessing that GM looked at them, did some math on how many they could sell, and went like,
That's not worth it.
Number 4, Lancer Evolution, FQ. Although Mitsubishi Evos were sold all over the world, if you wanted the fastest, gnarliest, most insane examples, you had to have bad teeth. You had to be living in the UK. Not too happy with the power figures of the standard Evo 8, the jolly old tech wizards from Rally Art UK decided to make it more bonkers, as they say. And so they gave it bigger turbo, a new ECU, forged internals, better exhaust, stiffer suspension, this and that, which resulted in the FQ400 with 400 horsepower and enough speed to hunt down the Lambo owners. Nice! There were lesser FQ versions too, but never mind those, because with the final 10th generation, the Rally Art boys decided to push the limits once again. This is an Evo FQ440 with, you guessed it, 440 horses out of a 2-liter engine. If you're wondering if that's a lot, yes it is. That was the most power out of liter ever. Even now, just a few hypercars managed to do better. Only 40 of these were ever made, which makes them rarer than a civil discussion on Twitter. And given that these, like all other FQs, were only sold in the UK, it basically means you'll never see one. Funny thing, when the Japanese came over to see what all this commotion surrounding the British versions of their cars was, they noticed this FQ badge, of course. They were pleased to hear that it stood for fine quality, but actually internally it meant fuck quick. Number 3, Volkswagen SP2. Hot take, but I think that Volkswagen has never made a proper sports car. GTI is a hot hatchback, no matter the power figure. Scirocco and Corrado are the same, only with sexier bodies. And the Karmann Ghia, well, that's just a Beetle with an Italian design all strapped on top. The closest VW ever got into producing a sports car was when they made this SP2. What? You've never heard of it? Never seen it either? Well, that's because the SP2 was made in Brazil and only for Brazil. During the 70s, like most of South America, Brazil too was under a military dictatorship, a dictatorship that imposed such huge tariffs on imported cars that it was cheaper for VW to open a Brazilian branch and build the cars there. One such car was the SP2, a rear-wheel drive coupe with one serious flaw. The SP stood for Sao Paulo, where the car was built, but the owners would tell you that it really stood for Sans Potenza, without power. And that's because, like with the Karmann Ghia, the underpinnings of this sexy car were very unsexy. Ugh. At the rear, no, not the front, here lies a 1.7 liter with 65 horsepower, good for reaching 60 miles per hour in 17 seconds, and the top speed of 100 in 17 days, probably. Not exactly neck-breaking speeds, but look, if the Karmann Ghia sold well, why not give this a shot too? Why not export it? Well, because the US and Europe have some regulations regarding how high off the ground the headlights can be, and these, they were too low.
It's the law!
Number 2, Commodore SS Group A SV. A question for you. Which of these has the biggest plastic ass? Is it A, Kim Kardashian, B, Nicki Minaj, or C, Holden Commodore SS Group?
What the hell is even that?
In my opinion, the Aussie car wins by a landslide, and it's not just the rear. This car is so full of fiberglass plastic, I would have been surprised if it turns out that it can float on water. The reason why it looks so weird, to be polite, is not because the design was done by a bunch of 2-year-olds in a Need for Speed Underground game, but because this is a homologation special for a race car. Holden had to produce at least 500 of such road cars if they wanted to enter it in a Bathurst 1000, which is a huge annual event where Holden and Ford fans and drivers have a big fist fight until someone is crowned the race winner. Anyways, guys at Holden were so sure that this aerodynamic Commodore VL would be a collector's item that they produced more than required, 250 more, and then, well, just look at them. Yeah, it's retro cool now, but back then, selling this bloated Commo was like selling selfie sticks at a funeral. Some dealers even went so far as to replace the body with a regular one just to get rid of the damn thing. And if it's such a struggle to sell it in Australia, where most of the Holden fans are, what chance would it have elsewhere?
I want one.
Keep in mind, it's a right-hand drive car.
I think I'll pass.
Now, before I reveal the last car on the list, here are 3 more honorable mentions. Can you guess what they are? Let me know down in the comments. And now, number 1, Toyota Century. I don't know about you, but I feel like today's top-end luxury cars with two-tone paint jobs, fancy grills, quilted leather, and unnecessary gizmos out of the wazoo are getting a bit too flashy. Luckily, Japan is more restrained when it comes to that, which is why their idea of a luxury car isn't some Elvis costume on wheels, but a shrine of peace and serenity. It's called the Century, and it is handmade by Toyota's most skilled artisans. There are only 4 color options, and instead of leather, you get wool seats. Why?
Why?
Because it's softer, more comfortable, less hot during summer, and it doesn't make fart noises when you wiggle around. As for the most advanced gizmos, 0. Toyota gave it only the time-tested and proven old tech, which must never break, just like any other part. This, after all, is not just a car for the wealthy, but for state dignitaries, and yes, the royal family too. Imagine if it broke down just there. Toyota's CEO would probably commit seppuku.
Ow!
Given this car's unique character, the Japanese recognized it simply wouldn't resonate beyond their borders, which is why Toyota isn't even trying to export it. And this is not just a guess. In the late 90s, they converted around 100 of these second-generation cars to be offered overseas, but then crickets. Okay, so since the rest of the world didn't get what makes the Century so special, they won't be getting it ever again. Full stop.
Understand that? Gaijin?
Anyway, that's all I've got to say about this topic. Thank you for watching. Thank you, my supporters. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.
Milkshake brings all boys to the yard. Damn right, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. It brings all the boys to the yard.
Cut!